go.
And I'm here because I'm volunteering with the Communion of the Saints, and I'm speaking from Ontario, Canada, with my lovely friend Jyoti Ma. If you would please introduce yourself as well.
Hi, I'm Jyoti Ma. I'm the founder of the Enlightened Life Pilgrimage Festival, and I'm also heading up the campaign called Feeding the Saints of Tamil Nadu, which we're going to share more about with you today.
Perfect. So, Jyoti Ma, could I ask you just to share with everybody, why is it that we're here to talk with them today?
Well, we have a pretty exciting event coming up on September 13th, where that's a really incredible, one-of-a-kind experience, where we're going to get together with the holy indigenous people of Tamil Nadu, who are truly holy people, by virtual pilgrimage gathering. And it's in support of a fundraiser that we're running for them called Feeding the Saints of Tamil Nadu. So as we go through our conversation today, we're going to share more details with you about who they are and where they come from and why we're connected with them. But the main thing that I want you to keep in mind is that live stream event opportunity, which is a very rare opportunity. I don't think there's ever been a pilgrimage with the holy people of India held on a virtual format before.
Perfect. So we'll be sharing more information about that in this video as well. So Jyoti Ma, could you please tell us who are the traditional holy people of Tamil Nadu?
Yes, well, let me start with introducing you to our team for the Enlightened Life Pilgrimage Festival. And you'll see the man in orange there. It's one of the holy people of Tamil Nadu. He's the leader of the Sadhus pilgrimage to North America, which began in 2018. We started going to Tamil Nadu to meet with different holy people to help them make their first pilgrimage to North America. So this is our team, which is Prema on the left, Prema Sagara. He's the CEO of the festival. Next to him is Konar Manikandan. We call him Mani. He's our Tamil Nadu team leader. He coordinates all the sadhus and does all the translating and cultural support. Then we have Venkatesh, who has been a sadhu for many, many years. He's a Shiva sadhu, devoted to Lord Shiva. He's from Madurai, India, where this picture was taken. You can see the towers of the famous Madurai Meenakshi goddess temple in the background. And then myself on the end there next to Venkatesh. Because we were coordinating a pilgrimage of holy people from India to North America, we came to know many sadhus. And some of these sadhus are going to be on the virtual pilgrimage. Venkatesh will be with us. Mani will be with us, Prema will be with us, the whole team will be there facilitating the first ever virtual pilgrimage. Because of the COVID crisis, they cannot make their pilgrimage, which was scheduled to be this month, and they were going to go to the holy mountains outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico. But since the COVID crisis, their whole life has changed, not just their pilgrimage is delayed. They will still come when things change. But the temples of India have all closed and the pilgrimages have been stopped. And the sadhus are generally wandering mystical holy people, and they renounce the world and they do a lot of spiritual practice and develop their spiritual energy to a high extent. And they you'll find them often in temple grounds when people come out of the temples, they go straight to the sadhus to get their blessings, because their practice is said in the culture that doesn't just benefit them and make them into holy people, it also benefits their village and their surrounding community. So they're a very important part of the indigenous spiritual culture of India. And with the temples closed, they're not able to give their blessings in the temple. No one's coming. And they have always survived on the good kindness of other people, kindness of people who believe that it's good for their karma to support the saints, and that since the saints are praying and doing pujas and homa and giving blessings, and such a good thing for the community, they want to support them by giving them food and giving them donations. And they can also get free meals in the temples. But now with the temples closed, they're not getting any donations, and many of them are starving and struggling for food. They don't stay in one place, and now they have to stay in one place. They don't have rooms to live in because they generally would travel in groups and camp outside at the various pilgrimage places. So many of our sadhus that made the commitment to make the pilgrimage are now suffering and struggling and trying to survive. So we have launched a fundraiser for them to keep them going through the crisis until their lives can return to normal, which is outside of the normal for all of us, of course, because they live in a total subculture of India where holy people wander and make pilgrimage to all the sacred places on the earth there in the Holy Land of India. So the fundraiser is called Feeding the Saints of Tamil Nadu, and we wanted to introduce you to some of our sadhus today and tell you a bit about them. Just know that they are so grateful for any help they get, and you receive so many blessings in return from them. So we're trying to raise money now to provide food, housing, and clothing for our pilgrimage sadhus.
Great. So could you share a little bit more with us about who they are?
I would love to do that. This is the festival that I was talking about, the pilgrimage. Those were our dates, and they're coming up, and they can't come. But on the 13th of September, they're going to have a virtual pilgrimage, and they're going to come.
Sorry, I'm pausing just to make sure
Sure.
that we understand the story. So, how did you first become connected with the sadhus?
Because of Enlightened Life Pilgrimage Festival, which came from my Siddha master, Sri Hari Baba, who you can see his picture here. He's a Siddha sadhu, and he's has been a Siddha a long, long time. He's a very famous, renowned Siddha master from the Himalayas of India. And I got to know him several years ago when I had the opportunity to go there and spend time with him and get accepted into the Siddha tradition myself. And so it was in 2018 when he asked me to please organize the first ever Kumbh Mela of America, or holy pilgrimage for the saints of India to come to North America. So I did go to India. I've lived in India many, many years prior to that. Over the past 25 years, I've lived more time in India than I have in the West. But I went to Tamil Nadu because I know a lot of people in Tamil Nadu. I lived there a long time. And I took some of our team members with us. I took Brahma, the CEO for the festival. I took another volunteer that we had, whose name is Adi, who lives in Canada, and who's a very good friend of Danielle's. And I also took Jess Johnston, who is a filmmaker, because I wanted to document the first time the saints leave India to come to North America. So we went with high hopes, searching for the saints. And we traveled all around to many famous pilgrimage temples and places in Tamil Nadu, looking for the right kind of sadhu, a saintly sadhu, a holy being who, well, they call them vibrational sadhus, meaning they give powerful Shakti. You know, there's been many things that Western people have benefited from Eastern culture, from Hindu culture especially. Yoga, meditation, bhakti, mantra, yantra, tantra, the whole idea of enlightened consciousness, higher consciousness, the idea of a daily discipline, spiritual practice, all of these things came flowing out of India into the West, and we've all benefited from them in so many ways. Even Ayurveda for health, the original indigenous traditions of India for health. We've received so many blessings from India. And this was our next, and will be our next level of wave of consciousness coming from India to North America. When they make the pilgrimage, this is introducing the tradition of pilgrimage to our culture as well. You know, they move all around India and they walk on foot and they go from holy place to holy place. And what makes a place holy is that it's a special place on the earth. So it's very earth connected. This is, again, the indigenous roots of all the spiritual power of Bharat, the sacred land of India. And when you place your feet on the earth and you're walking the matrix of the earth from one holy place to another, you're empowering that current. You're becoming one with that current. You're becoming one with the earth. And pilgrimage is a very powerful practice, but it's not one of the practices that we have received yet. And that's what the sadhus are going to bring, the tradition of pilgrimage. Can you imagine when all of the people that are yoga practitioners, meditators, tantric practitioners, all the beautiful spiritual disciplines we have received that we're using every day to benefit ourselves and other people, when we learn the tradition of pilgrimage, now we bring that power of our presence and our bodies to the earth itself. And we'll create that same powerful matrix from place to place, holy place to holy place through North America. And their first pilgrimage, they were coming to the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, which are very sacred to the indigenous North American people as well. And they're going to gather with the tribes there when they come. So we went to Tamil Nadu to find the right saints, so the holiest of holies, the most vibrational, they call them, and who can lead America and lead Canadians and Mexican people, European people, Australian people, New Zealand people, the Western people, to take up this next step in the wave of consciousness that flows out of India and start to make pilgrimage in our own lands to our own holy places. This is going to be so healing for the earth. So we went there looking for the sadhus, and we drove around from place to place, and we were there for two months. And we met many, many beautiful, amazing sadhus on the way. And they made the pledge. So we actually got to know them. So that when the COVID crisis happened, Prema said very wisely, this is why we had to go and connect with them, because the great masters, and including Hari Baba, they knew it was coming. They knew this was going to be part of our next awakening to face this crisis. And now we're connected, and now we know them. And there they are, completely displaced from their natural culture and their natural way of life. And at the same time, we've been connected, and we know them, and we know their stories, and now we can share them with you, and you can be a part of helping them. It feels like a return of the energy. All these gifts and blessings we've received from India, from the Hindu culture, now we can give back to the holiest people in the culture at this time of crisis. So.
And can you explain what did happen for them when the COVID started? You mentioned the temples were shut down. Can you explain a little bit more about the situation right
now? Yes, of course. The sadhus are always found in the temple grounds, and they're giving their blessings to people. Or they might be up on the holy mountain where the pilgrims are coming, and they're giving their blessings there. Or they might be at the sacred rivers where pilgrimage is held, because they'll move from place to place. But they don't work. Their work is to serve God and to try their hardest to do the yoga of becoming one with God. And so they are supported by donations from people who receive their blessings. And the people might give them food, or they give them money so that they can buy clothing, they can buy supplies that they need, and also buy their food. In the temples, when the temples are open, they have a daily prasad. It's called prasad, but it's a meal, a small meal. And the sadhus can have a way to eat because of that too. They also get fed sometimes at temples that feed sadhus and ashrams that feed sadhus. And you'll see every day at mealtime, the priest will do a special puja in the temple, and then all the sadhus will come in, sit down around the shrine, and then they give each one of them food. Okay, so now the temples are closed. There's no food. There's no resource for them to get food. There's no donations because no one's going to the temples. So what's happening is, sadly, we met, I contacted Mani early on in the crisis, our Tamil Nadu leader, and I said, what's happening with our sadhus? Where are they, you know? And he said, I'll find out. And he started tracking them down, and he got back to me and he said, I found Venkatesh, who is such a holy man. I said, where is he? He said, he's just told me for the past 2 weeks, I have been walking around the town of Madurai. I have nowhere to go and I haven't eaten. So for 2 weeks, no food, and he's just walking from place to place. So because of our fundraiser, he got a sponsor who sponsored him for 3 months. So he has had for the past few months a room to stay in, and food to eat, and clothing, and support for his living expenses. So this is the condition. Some of them have been sponsored, some of them have not been sponsored. Some of them are still living on the streets. One of our sadhvis is this woman, Krishnavani, who has a small sadhu ashram. And she started making big amounts of food and taking it out to the street in front of the temples, and hundreds of sadhus lined up and sadhvis lined up to get food. And she's trying her best to feed as many as she can. All day long, she tries to feed people. And she was running out of food supplies. So our donors have also supported her to get more food supplies. So through the blessings of Krishnavani, who is a beautiful woman, holy woman, we're able to feed many, many people by supporting her efforts. And all the other places are closed. So then we also have sadhus who still need support, and we want to keep supporting them until the crisis is over. We want to keep the donations flowing to them because their whole way of life is gone. There's no pilgrimage and there's no temple. And so they're trying to find a new way forward and a new way to live. And we're trying, with the help of all our supporters, we've been able to provide for them, and we hope to be able to continue to provide for them throughout the crisis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are there a couple of more images for us to?
Would you like to meet some of the sadhus? Let's talk about that. So this is Cinderville, and he's at this gate because this gate leads to a trail that goes up the holy mountain called Saturagiri. And on top of this mountain is a very famous Shiva temple. And it is said by the devotees, the many thousands of devotees who make the pilgrimage up the mountain, which is a 10-kilometer hike, that siddhas appear. Siddhas are the immortal holy masters of that are famous in India, that they appear to people up on the mountain. And the temple there is very special. And so we had gone there to try to meet sadhus, and we met up with Sandoval. He is a Siddha sadhu, and he's a very high vibration sadhu. We could feel his energy from the minute we entered the village, and he was all the way across the village. But he stays in Satyagiri, but he does take pilgrimage. When the crisis happened, he was on pilgrimage. I have to tell a little bit of backstory about him. He wanders from place to place, and he did not ever have a room, never had a place to stay. but he comes back to Satyagiri all the time. So we rented a room for him there. And it was the first time, his whole time he's been a sadhu, which is about 15 years, that he ever had a room. And he was very happy to have that room. But then he left to go on pilgrimage. And then the crisis hit. And he had to stay wherever he was because they don't let people travel. And also he'd be traveling on foot and the temples are closed. So as of this moment, we don't know where he is. But Mani has him on a regular call schedule to track him down. And in the next week, there will be sadhu activity happening in Satyagiri. They're going to have a small gathering there, just sadhus. So our team leader for Tamil Nadu, Mani, is going to travel there and talk to some more sadhus and see how they're all doing. And hopefully he'll connect with Sandoval there. It might just be that he wasn't able to pay for his cell phone anymore. You know, they do have cell phones these days. Some of them are quite basic, and he had a very basic, old-fashioned cell phone, but we were able to call him on it, but he may not have been able to pay for it anymore once the temple's closed. He's a beautiful siddha. I can't wait for everyone to meet these people when they come to North America. This is Manikandan delivering clothing to Venkatesh on the day that Venkatesh got his room and got off the streets in Madurai and was able to stop walking around all the time. We also gave him a lot of food. He bought a lot of food for him. Venkatesh is the pilgrimage leader for the sadhus. He traveled around with us everywhere we went on our last trip over there when we were working on trying to get passports and visas organized for these wandering saints who don't really connect with those kinds of things, you know, that they've never had passports, most of them. So we're trying to organize that, and he is so devoted to our pilgrimage. We showed him a picture of some of the mountain peaks that are famous in the Sangre de Cristos, and he said, I want to put my foot on that holy mountain, just like I put my foot on the holy mountain of Kailash in the far north. He's made the trip up there more than once. So he's very devoted to their pilgrimage as a spiritual mission. And he did have a sponsor. His sponsorship is going to run out this month. So we want to keep his room. We want to still be able to provide him.
Oh, we just lost your audio. Yeah. Audio is switching to the telephone. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there we go.
Okay. We reconnected. I lost one connection and picked up another. So he travels around with us, and he always is telling the other sadhus, you know, about the holy places that they're going to come to when they come to North America. He's a sweet, sweet man. I love him so much. And he's their leader. So he's in need of help right now too. This is Palani Murugan. He's from Tiruvannamalai. Tiruvannamalai is one of the holiest of holy pilgrimage towns in all of India. And he's a very serious sadhu. He seems very serious, but if you go to our YouTube channel, Enlightened Life Festival, you will see a video of him where he's smiling and giving the most amazing virtual Shakti you've ever experienced. He's a Shivite also, and he's in need of a sponsor too. He makes multiple pilgrimage, but he comes back to Tiruvannamalai. We kind of think of it as their base place, their base pilgrimage spot. And that's where we connected with him, was in the holy city of Tiruvannamalai. For those who don't know, for one example, the great Saint Ramana Maharshi had his ashram there. He lived on the holy mountain, Arunachala, when he became a great awakened saint, and his ashram is still there to this day. So it is a very, very special place. And he is a very special sadhu. we just were able to send the first donation to him the last time we sent donations, which was a couple of weeks ago. But he needs a lot more help. They're all, waiting for the situation to change. So he's a very amazing being. I encourage you to take a minute, go to that YouTube channel, look up Enlightened Life Festival on YouTube and watch him. You saw it, Danielle. You know what I'm talking about. He's very special.
Very
and
good.
We need to support him. He needs our help. Oops. Okay. This is Krishnavani sitting here on the right side of your screen, the lady with the root raksha. She's a Shivite sadhvi. She's in Tiruvannamalai also. She has a sadhu ashram there. Of course, there's Venkatesh and myself and Prema. This was on our last trip there. We did a live stream with them, touring their ashram. And at that time, we were focused on getting their passports, and now we're just focused on trying to keep them all going. Because she has this small ashram, Krishnavani is able to feed a lot of sadhus. And it's her life to serve sadhus. She herself is a sadhvi. She left her family when she was quite young and telling them, no, I'm not getting married. Shiva's the only man for me. And that she was going to be a renunciate and she was going to be a sadhvi, which is happening more now than it used to, that women take up the life of the holy person. But it's still kind of a shock to the family when it happens. And then next to her in the yellow is her partner, Shiva. He helps her out with the ashram. Krishnavani gets up at 3 a.m. This is her day now that the temples are closed. She gets up at 3 a.m. She bathes, she says some prayers. She goes to the kitchen and she prepares as much food as she possibly can, as she has the resources for. She takes these big pots of food out into the streets and feeds hundreds of sadhus all day long. She comes back to the ashram late afternoon. She makes more food. In the evening, her ashram sadhus come. She sits them all down inside the small gathering area inside her room. She feeds them all. She blesses their food by chanting mantras, ringing the bell, and then she sits down and they eat. And she refills their plate if they run out of food. And then after they leave and they've been fed, she cleans up the kitchen. She does her puja, she does her mantras, and then she goes to bed late night and she gets up the next day at 3 a.m. and does the same thing again. She is the most loving being I've ever met. If you stand in her presence and you see her smile, you'll just be immersed in love. And we've been supporting her ashram by giving donations for food supplies. And she has also sent a wealth of videos thanking us and giving gratitude for our help that are also on our channel. Shiva speaks a little bit of English. They're going to be on the live stream. Palani will be on the live stream. Venkatesh will be on the live stream. This is a chance for you to have a virtual pilgrimage with these holy people and get the blessings from them. I'm very excited for that. This is a man called Chandrasekhar Swamy. He has a small Parvati temple up on the holy mountain Arunachala near Tiruvannamalai. Sekhar Swamy wants to come on the pilgrimage. He is an inheritor of the Parvati temple from his family. His father was a priest of Parvati. Now he's the priest of Parvati and he's teaching his son to be the priest of Parvati. She's the goddess, of course, the root goddess, the main goddess, and the consort of Shiva. He's a delightful, beautiful man. He's in need of money. He not only needs help for his living expenses, his puja items, because he will never not do puja to that devi. Every single day, he's in there praying to Parvati Ma. who, you know, in Hindu tradition is the one who cares for everyone. And they need food for his family. They need also money for his medical expenses. He got sick and he's going to go to the hospital soon and get a procedure. And he's worried, you know, how is my family going to eat? How are we going to keep our small house, let alone how are we going to pay for the medical care? So we're going to send some donations to him. He is part of our pilgrimage, and he's just a delightful holy man and priest. And he just loves Parvati, the goddess, so much. So we're praying for him, and we're going to try to send some money for him, but he needs your support on that too. He won't be able to be on the live stream because of his health, but we do want to help him. He will come to the pilgrimage. This is a whole sangha of sadhus. A sangha is like a group of sadhus. This one's led by Pataswamy, who's there in the front, the man with the white beard with the nice smile. And then these are his disciples. They're outside of the holy town of Kumbakonam, and he writes numerous books about the Siddha tradition. He's quite renowned as a teacher of the Siddha path, which you don't find very often, and a lot of his books are written in Tamil, but he does have some books that have been translated. And Patu means song Swami. He makes beautiful holy songs and chants. I had the chance to be in his home, see his own personal homa pit in his home, and to sit with him and receive copies of his books. And he's a beautiful being. He's going to come also for the pilgrimage. Their sangha needs support. All these people with him are his students and disciples, and he usually provides for all of them, but their temple is closed also, so they need help too.
So with the temples being closed, that means no visitors, and the normal flow of donation funding is
no visitors. The only people that can go in the temples right now are the priests of the temples, and they can go in there and they can do puja to the deity and all of that and do the rituals, but they cannot have any outside people in. There's no visitors allowed. The sadhus can't go in. No one can go in. Only the priests can go. And the priests, I see some videos of their pujas. They're putting out a few videos, pujas, and they're wearing masks. And, you know, they're being very careful. But no one can go in. This is Shivananda Pulatpani Swami. He's in a holy town called Palani. Palani is a hilltop. It's a mountaintop. It's very holy and a very, very popular pilgrimage spot. He actually inherited the lineage tradition of Bhoganath Siddha, who is a very famous, one of the 18 original Siddha masters. His sangha is going to come on pilgrimage with us. They are feeding people in their temple. One thing I loved about Shivananda Pulapani when we met, every day they feed everybody who wants to eat, including many of the sadhus that live in Palani. They come to his ashram, they would sit down, there would be hundreds of them, and they would serve them food every single day. And this Swami, who is the head of the lineage, who is the most revered holy man of all in the whole area, he stands right there while they're serving food. He makes sure every single person gets food, and he does that every single day. He's a real deal. There's a lot of not so true guru types in India, but he is not a guru. He is a Swami, and he is a true Pulapani, which was the Bhoganath disciple. And he makes sure everybody has food every day. So we also are supporting him and sending some food donations, money, so that they can continue to feed people. They can't let people in the ashram right now. Their temple is also closed. But they are going out in the streets and delivering food to many, many sadhus in the Palani area. Balasubramanian This is a serious sadhu. You can see Venkatesh sitting in the background. This was when we first met him. He walks from Madurai, Tamil Nadu, all the way to Mount Kailash, which is north of the north. And it might take him weeks, but he will walk on pilgrimage. And right now, he's in the north. He got stuck up there. And we don't know when he's coming back or how he's coming back. But Venkatesh has contact with him more often probably than anyone else. And we hope to be able to give an update on him soon. He is very direct. And when we told him about the pilgrimage on the first trip we went, and we would tell them, oh, we're gonna help organize a pilgrimage of the Sadhus of India to North America. Do you want to come? And he said, I have already known about this from my meditation. And yes, I am coming. So we'll be seeing him in person when the pilgrimage happens. So that brings us to our live stream event with the Sadhus. Is there anything in particular you want to know about that, Danielle?
Oh, well, what will we get to experience?
We had a test meeting to make sure that all their equipment was working, because we had to provide special equipment because they're in very remote locations in Tamil Nadu and the cell signal is not good. So we had to get these mobile hotspots to them for internet. And then we had a test. And I want to tell you, we had Venkatesh, Krishnavani and Shiva, and one other sadhu from Tiruvannamalai. And the vibrations coming through that video feed were amazing. So what's going to happen during the live stream is Mani will be present to translate from Tamil, because some of them don't speak too much English. So they'll be speaking in Tamil and Mani will translate. And then when we talk to them, Mani will translate the English to Tamil. So you'll get to see them all live in their own settings and all these different holy locations we talked about. And each sadhu is going to take a minute and talk to our viewers and talk to the guests in the live stream and tell them a little bit about their tradition and their practice and how they live and what is their culture and what is their life, and give them a blessing as well. And after each sadhu shares a part of this phenomenal life of being a holy man or holy woman, our participants will be able to ask questions about any part of their spiritual tradition or their traditional indigenous culture, or any personal questions about your own spiritual practice. And the saints will answer you. So it will be like having a live darshan and a live teaching from living holy people from Tamil Nadu. It's going to be a very unusual first time ever event, and I'm very excited to invite you to it. So we have here the link on this slide to join the live stream. All you have to do is register. It's a free pilgrimage gathering. And when you register, you receive an email back with the link to join the meeting on September 13th. So it'll be early morning here for many of us in North America, but it will be evening in India. So we also have some people who will be attending from India as well, that are not saints, but are, practitioners like us, and people on the path, and people who like to support indigenous culture and learn more about the holy people of India. So this is the place to register to get that link.
Thank you so much. And is there anything else that people can do right now in the meantime?
I want to say, if you can, please support our crowdfunder. This is the link for that. It's on GoFundMe. It actually just has one F. That link isn't right. So it's gofundme.com/F/. feeding the saints of Tamil Nadu with dashes in between. There's no F. Alternatively, you can just go to GoFundMe.com and put in the search phrase, feeding the saints of Tamil Nadu, and you'll see our pictures and you'll know that that's our event, our crowdfunder. So we put updates there all the time. Our videos are shared. Whatever the sadhus send us, we share pictures and stories from them. And it's a chance for you to give back to the culture of Hinduism that has given so much to all of us, and support these people in their time of need. It's always good to feed hungry people around the world, and to be able to feed a holy person, I think, is quite a blessing. So all donations are welcome. Everything helps. And we really appreciate the support.
Thank you. We'll make sure that those links are posted with the video, so you can also go to the description to click on them to register. Or
description will also have the links.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much for sharing about this. Are there any final words you would like to share?
Thank you so much for hosting it and for being a part of our volunteer inner circle group. If anyone else wants to volunteer, you can contact us through the fundraiser. You can message us there. You can also go to enlightenedlifefest.com and send a message there. We're looking for more people to volunteer to help us get the word out about the campaign. And we also would love to partner with anyone who has a following or a business or an audience that's interested in consciousness and charity and holy indigenous people. This would be a great chance for us to work together and support each other mutually while feeding the saints of Tamil Nadu.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I'm really grateful that I had the chance to talk with you today. Daniel, thank you for your time and your service.
Oh, thank you.
And lots of blessings to everyone. I hope that I'll see you on the live stream, and that we'll see you on our social media pages. And please share with your friends, share the video, and let people know about this amazing, incredible event that's coming up. Lots of love to everyone.
Thank you.